Arcadian Vanguard presents the Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Friday, December 22nd, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with last night's Ring of Honor, which was streamed on Honor Club, featuring matches taped December 16th at the Curtis Culwell Center in Garland, Texas. In the main event, AAA Mega Champion El Hijo del Vikingo teamed with Commander to defeat Gringo Loco and Jack Cartwheel. Marshall and Ross Von Erich made their second appearance in Ring of Honor, defeating the Workhorsemen in the opening match. ROH Women's World Champion Athena took part in her 26th non-title match, this time beating Maya World. In a three-way tag team encounter, Action Andretti and Darius Martin emerged victorious over the Infantry and the Outrunners. In other results, Dalton Castle, Gravity, and the Boys beat the Spanish Announce Project, Griff Garrison, and Cole Carter. Rachel Ellering topped Charlotte Renegade. Taya Valkyrie went over Vert Vixen. The Righteous and Lance Archer defeated the Iron Savages and Jack Jameson. The Gates of Agony beat Blake Christian and Willie Mack. And Dante Martin went over Lee Johnson. In ratings news, last Wednesday's episode of Dynamite drew an audience of 782,000 to TBS, according to WrestleNomics. That's down 7% from last week's audience of 845,000, and is the lowest audience of the past 2 months, as well as the third lowest Dynamite audience of 2023. In the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic, the show scored a .26 rating, down from last week's .30 key demo rating. In Major League Wrestling news, Matt Riddle has been advertised for an upcoming appearance in MLW. The former WWE star is scheduled to face Jacob Fatu in the main event of MLW Kings of Colosseum on January 6 at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. Riddle was let go from WWE last September after a 5-year run with the company. He has not wrestled since leaving WWE and has not competed for MLW since early 2018, when he participated in the MLW World Title Tournament, losing to Shane Strickland, aka Swerve Strickland, in the finals. In WWE news, there are several former WWE talents who may soon be turning up in other companies. The 90-day non-compete clause for the group of wrestlers let go last September in the wake of the Endeavor buyout expired yesterday. As a result, the list of those now entering free agency, in addition to the previously mentioned Matt Riddle, includes Dolph Ziggler, Mustafa Ali, Elias, Mason Mansoor, Shelton Benjamin, Top Dollar, Rick Boogs, Dana Brooke, Aaliyah, Dabba-Kato, Riddick Moss, Emma, and Shanky. In WWE signings, the company assigned Brogan Finley and Maddie Rinkowski to the NXT roster, according to PW Insider. Finley is the son of Fit Finley, former wrestler and longtime WWE coach, while Rinkowski is a former NWA Women's Tag Team Champion. Both Finley and Rinkowski are expected to report to the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida shortly. And we close with some news from across the Atlantic. The Flower of Scotland, Rusty Blair, will be inducted today into the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame for Scotland. Real name Carol Taylor, the Perthshire County native, becomes the first women's performer inducted into the hall. Originally discovered by Welsh promoter Orig Williams and beginning her career in 1976, Blair became notable as the first credible claimant to a UK-based women's world title by winning a 1979 tournament over US-based wrestler Princess Jasmine in Lagos, Nigeria. Blair then went on to defeat Mitzi Mueller on February 15, 1980, winning Mueller's British and European championships and folding those titles into her own. Blair headlined shows across Europe, Africa, and Asia, often competing in some of those countries' first-ever women's matches. On April 24, 1987, Blair became the first woman to main event the Royal Albert Hall in London when she teamed with Mitzi Mueller in a winning effort over the Boverbirds team of Klondike Kate and Nikki Monroe. The match is notable for being the first show in London following the city dropping a ban on women's wrestling, as well as doubling as Mueller's farewell appearance. The show featured such names as Kendo Nagasaki, Fit Finley, Tony St. Clair, and a young Jushin Thunder Liger who was wrestling as Fuji Yamada. The Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame for Scotland was formed in 2015 and has so far inducted George Kidd, Andy Robin, Chick Cullen, Bill Ross, Drew McDonald, Chick Purvey, Jim McKenzie, and Ian Campbell. Each of the inductions have been carried out in the honoree's hometown, where a plaque is installed for permanent display to the public. often in a local historic wrestling venue. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.